A physical meta is here. Zenless on Zero Proxies, it's your boy Josh, and welcome to the 2.1 Drip Market review, as well as the basic overview of what we can expect in terms of 2.1, and of course this video holistically is going to be whether or not you guys should be pulling on 2.0 or 2.1, which is a very weird question. You might be wondering, Josh, of course you just want to pull forward 2.0. You have YIXUAN, you have jufufu, you got Yuzuha, you got Jshoea. What's not to like about them versus these new characters? Let's break it down all for you today. First things first thing is first. I do want to go over the new units and then we'll kind of circle back to the 2.0 just because these units are so freaking adorable. I can't wait. Let's first talk about Yuzuha. What's her full name? Ukinami Yuzuha. Okay. Oh my goodness. She is absolutely adorable. And you can see little raccoon in the background. Very cute. Very cute. If you guys don't know, my mascot, my stream mascot is a raccoon, so very cute. That adds bonus points to Yuzuha. But Yuzuha comes to us as arguably one of my most anticipated particular character agent archetypes, and that is going to be the physical support unit. Yes, we have not yet gotten a physical support unit, and in particular, we haven't gotten a physical premium support unit. And that's going to be the one thing that I think is going to make Yuzuha stand out amongst the crowd of the many units that are coming earlier on in 2.x. So when it comes to a character like Yuzuha being a physical support, you would think, oh, physical support. It's going to be a support for physical. Who could we realistically support that is physical? Well, more than likely, if you guys see the top physical performing characters, they're all anomaly. They're just all anomaly. They want to play into assault, which is the particular attribute anomaly of physical. And it is one of the most strongest anomalies, being able to crit firstly, and just being able to just pour on just millions of damage all in one burst. It is absolutely disgusting how well Piper and Jane Doe have been able to really run the meta in the earlier sections of 1.1. Was it 1.1? 1.2? 1.1 to 1.4. And even still, you see the relevance of a Jane Doe working well with Vivian. You know, Piper, not as much, but Piper can very much well work with characters like Bernice in order to be able to disorder. So we could potentially be looking at Yuzuha being either a more conventional support in the sense that, oh, she just provides, you know, attack buff, or she provides anomaly buffs or whatever. I think we could be seeing our very first true anomaly buffer, which would be a really cool direction that they would go into. Or it could be a little bit more niche down, where you actually see her buffing just purely physical, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I'm assuming when it comes to a premium support unit, we already have a character like Jshoea. Yuzuha could be not necessarily the antithesis, but the yin to the yang, right? We have our attacker units who benefit from more conventional stats like pen, attack, elemental bonus, crits. And then you have the anomaly side where they scale with attack and anomaly proficiency. So when it comes to Yuzuha, I really think she could be one of our newest premier supports for anomaly. And in an era where we're heading into the miasma sheer force meta, I think that us introducing a character that could potentially, I don't know, maybe even work with sheer force. I don't even know how that would work, but you know, maybe they could add it into the kit somehow, make her sort of a hybrid. I don't know how that would work, but I mean, if she is just going to be more of a conventional support or an anomaly support, that's perfectly fine, just because there is still a section in the ecosystem of Zenless Zone Zero for anomaly and disorder. Yes, you still have miasma and the upcoming rise of miasma and sheer force units down the road, but that doesn't mean we aren't going to be getting more other enemies that, you know, can be affected weakness-wise by disorder and anomaly. So Yuzuha coming in as one of my most anticipated units. And I'll be honest, I thought she was going to be the anomaly unit, but she turns out to be the support unit in this case. Let's turn on over to our next unit, who is the surprise factor. Let's go over to Alice. Alrighty. Alice is also having a little bit of animation. She, as you guys can see, she also has a small animation, correct? Yes. No? Yes? Confirmed, Alice is also a 5-star, and they are physical anomaly. And hey folks, if you guys didn't know, this video actually I'm going to repurpose into our 4th guide prep series video. If you guys didn't know, our guide prep series here on YouTube is a part of a $300, yes, $300 poll session giveaway for you guys in chat. Our first winner, who was Vaultner over on Twitch, won the Twitch raffle. We still have 2 out of the 300 more to give away. And in particular, YouTube one that you guys are participating in right now actually is the puzzle, the code word giveaway. Make sure to take this code letter. This is our 4th code letter. We will have 1 more code letter tomorrow in our travel guide prep series. Make sure to take all these letters. There will be a form that you will need to put in the code letter, submit it, and on Thursday, actually, Thursday will be when you submit that code letter. All right, back to the video. Now, in lieu of what I was saying earlier about, oh yes, physical anomaly is one of the best archetypes you can have, I was really hoping to see a physical attacker character. We haven't seen a premium physical attacker character ever since the standard Nekomata, and you know how strong Nekomata is right now. But Alice is coming to us as our new premium physical offensive character in the anomaly class. Now again, physical anomaly, it just goes hand in hand. Being able to assault and make use of the attribute anomaly is extremely potent, I think, in this day and age for physical characters. Now, was I hoping that maybe we could get a physical sheer force? That would have been cool. Or just, again, a physical attacker that could make use of some other, mechanics, maybe Total Eyes, maybe Aftershock. That would have been fun. To be a more conventional physical anomaly character, we do have to see what it is in between the lines that makes her unique against the Pipers and the Jane Does. Just because this is the 3rd time we're seeing a physical anomaly, and if she's going to be meta, the top 3 physical units are going to be physical anomaly. And there's very little variance under that, because we have Piper, who's spin to win. We have Jane Doe, who's spin to win. Alice looks like she's wielding a rapier, a fencing rapier, which is super cool. I really like, how Zenless Zone Zero has been able to explore different weapon types as well as different fighting styles, which is amazing. You see, in 2.0, we see a lot of kung fu base kits with Yishen, Pan Yihu, not necessarily jufufu, as she just scratches and wields her mace around. But when it comes to Alice, I'm very looking forward to seeing how she can use a little bit more of an elegant play style when it comes to using a fencing weapon. So, as the 2nd character to be teased from Spook Shack, which is, shout outs to Spook Shack. They're very cute. They're very spunky. But I'm curious as to how, story-wise, first off, they fit in. Just because I think that the Spook Shack is probably going to be like a alternate side, kind of like how in the Xianzhou Laofu, like how Hui was, introduced into that new like spooky, horror portion of the Xianzhou Laofu. So too, that I think that, they're going to also explore some of those themes with Spook Shack. And just as a more explorative additive for Alice, could we see Alice become our very first physical off-field anomaly? Just because we've seen Jane Doe and Piper be on-field physical assault units. They apply the physical on-field, whereas you see the Bernices of the world, the Yanagis of the world, you see the Vivians of the world. You see them being able to proc their abilities off-field. We've been looking to see if ice and physical can really adapt to a sort of pseudo DPS, sub DPS, off-field DPS gameplay, and I'm very curious as to see where Alice kind of fits into where she's either on field or off field. If she does have off field capabilities, that spell's really, really good for value just because we have so many on field characters already. And if you have off field abilities, you're going to have a very, very long shelf life. The Yanagis of the world, the Bernices of the world, the Vivians of the world, right? These units are top of the tier in their primary and secondary DPS roles for a reason, just because of that flexibility alone. So Alice, I'm very, very curious if you do have more than what it seems outside of the box of just being a physical anomaly, she could be a really, really good pull. But I digress. Going back to, just the actual meta of it all. Do I think that Alice and Yuzuha are going to work together? Of course. Does this mean that Yuzuha is going to be a purely Alice support? I hopefully don't think so. As I mentioned before, I was looking to see Alice, I was looking to see Yuzuha in more of a just holistic anomaly / disorder support role so that we can actually get a dedicated anomaly support. And in my opinion, Yuzuha is going to be the #1 pickup in 2.1. Now, to circle back to 2.0, what does this mean for the 2.0 characters? And realistically, at the end of the day, the only question we want to ask is, should we pull for 2.0 or 2.1 characters? Now, I know a lot of us are excited about the Oboe Squad members. We're excited about Seed. We're excited about Orphe. When it comes to the Spook Shack, and again, Yuzuha is going to be a character I'm very, very keenly looking at to be a player or an agent that is able to be utilized outside of Spook Shack. But when it comes to 2.1, I feel like the niche is a little bit more condensed. They cover less ground, and even though they might be strong units, I would say that the value in the pull is not as much there when it comes to the 2.0 characters. YIXUAN in particular being one of our very first sheer units and being one of our first, enhanced elemental units in Auric Inc. YIXUAN is just that bitch. Okay, I cannot deny she's just absolutely, of course, gorgeous, but absolutely nuclear in terms of damage. And YIXUAN being one of the premier DPS units to come out in 2.x, aside potentially from, again, the Orphes of the world, maybe the Monatos of the world. I think YIXUAN picking up her right now is going to be a great idea. And with the amazing amount of pulls that we're getting in 2.0, you might as well should pick up a YIXUAN and then sort of evaluate where you want to go after that. Let's talk about the after that right now. We do have Jshoea that is paired up with YIXUAN. That is diabolical. Having two of the best units paired up together is astronomically just it racks our brains, especially when it comes to us as creators trying to give you guys pull value, because the question is, should I pull Jshoea or YIXUAN, right? Jshoea has much more universal value when it comes to the assistance that she can give to pretty much every unit in the entire game. Just every unit. Even with YIXUAN, she can also still buff YIXUAN to some extent. When it comes to YIXUAN herself, she is a sheer force character. She is a rupture agent. And how many times are we going to be seeing rupture in the first 3 to 6 months of 2.x? Not that many. So I'm very, very, very high still on YIXUAN. I really do hope that you guys still pull for her. I think she is incredible. You probably just want to pick her up first as the priority pick, and then Jshoea, and then W engines and whatnot for either or down the line. So that is my pull advice for 2.0 part 1. Part 2 brings up a very, very peculiar situation, because now we're getting a little bit too close to 2.1, where we can actually see some Yuzuha making a splash onto the scene as an anomaly potential support unit. So where does jufufu fit into the ecosystem? Well, jufufu is an overall, I'd say, catch-all stun unit. She has a little bit of not a little bit, a lot of days. What am I talking about? A lot of days, she is able to utilize a specific attack that no other stun agents have really able to before, and that is the chain attack. She's able to aftershock with her chain attack, which is absolutely bonkers. And again, aftershock, chain attack, these are all coming, ahead in a culmination of a kit that is really, really freaking sick, and that actually synergizes well with a character like YIXUAN, because you can use YIXUAN to proc the chain attacks, the aftershock of jufufu, and jufufu wanting to play as a burst stun character to rotate into, burst, switch her off, and then aftershock when YIXUAN's on the field. Jufufu's playstyle works. Yet, even outside of just the combo of YIXUAN and Jufufu will work with other mainline DPS characters. She can work with the Evelyns of the world. Potentially, she could even work with the Soldier Zero Ambies of the world, as they both, in some ways deal dash attacks, aftershock, stuff like that. It's going to be really, really interesting to see a Jufufu and Trigger team. I'm very curious how that will work. I do want to test that when we get our hands on the CE server. And then, you could see her being a character that is paired even with Lighter and Juvu and Hugo Vlad or Ellen Joe, and Jufufu being a sort of catch-all, like an amalgamation of a stun character, reminds me of a character in Genshin Impact, Kazuha, where you bring in these multiple elements together, you put them in one unit, blammo, she is really, really strong. Now, her scalings, I wouldn't say are as transcendent as a Kazuha, but Jufufu still is going to be one of your great premium stunners. If you do not yet have a premium stunner, you probably need to pick up a Jufufu. And here's the great thing, you do not need her signature. You don't need it. It is going to be a great option for you, but you just don't need it, because you can use the fossilized, you can use steamed oven being the energy recharge one, which I highly suggest people look into, just because that means less time with her on field and more of her as a burst. So steamed oven's going to be really, really good. And of course, the free, wink wink, free Hellfire's gear that you can get from the anniversary as an S tier standard W engine. Slap that on the Jufufu and boom, she's off the ground running. So when it comes to 2.0, my poll advice is get a YIXUAN, and if you don't have Jshoea already, maybe at least get a copy. Go get the W engine of YIXUAN, and then potentially if you want Jshoea, though I think Sokaku's W engine still will work well with you if you're on a budget. And then with Jufufu, grab your orange cat, tiger, grab your Tiger Thyron and grab a free W engine to pair with her. This will allow you to be a little bit more frugal with your money and your polychrome, such that you can bring that over into 2.1 and pull for Yuzuha at least, if not also pull a copy of Alice. And that'll wrap it up for the 2.1 drip marketing overview and the 2.0 to 2.1 poll suggestion guide. Let me know what you think of these two new drip marketed characters. I really think Spook Check is adorable. They're so freaking cute. And then who or if you guys are going to be pulling for the Jufufus of the world, the Yuzuhas of the world, or the Alices. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Yes, subscribe, like, and